we might be aware of polynomials. So அப்படின்னு சொல்லும்போதே நமக்கு என்ன ஞாபகம் வந்திருக்கும் அப்படின்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, we will be getting degrees. So most common நம்ம சால்வ் பண்ணக்கூடிய degrees in school levelலையும் சரி காலேஜ் லெவல்லையும் சரி mostly we will be solving cubic and quadratic equations. So இதுதான் mostly power 3 வேரியபிளோட பவர் 3 or வேரியபிளோட பவர் 2. In the categories தான் வந்து mostly we have formulas. Even now most of the mathematicians are trying to find the methods to solve your quadratic and biquadratic equations. Sometimes we used to call it as quadratic biquadratic equations. சரி, இப்போ இது ரெண்டுக்கும் இருக்கக்கூடிய டிஃபரன்ஸ், மோஸ்ட் காமன் டிஃபரன்ஸ் அப்படின்னு பார்த்தோம் அப்படின்னா, ஸோ இன் கேஸ் ஆஃப் quadratic equation அப்படிங்கிறது, so that is an polynomial equation where your power of the variable will be 4 and இதனோட general formula all the terms will be there. Suppose example, it will have ax power 4 plus bx cube plus cx square plus dx plus e equal to 0. So இந்த இடத்துல வந்து it is may or may not. So இந்த இடத்துல பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் x power 3 and x இந்த ரெண்டு டேர்ம்ஸ் வந்து இருக்கணும் இல்லாமலும் இருக்கலாம். That is what your பேசிக்காக இருக்கக்கூடிய quadratic equation அப்படின்னு சொல்லிக்கலாம். ஸோ இன் கேஸ் ஆஃப் biquadratic equation, it is a special type of quadratic equation. ஸோ இதை வந்து we will be calling it as biquadratic or biquadratic equation அப்படின்னு சொல்லலாம். சரி, அப்போ இந்த ரெண்டு கேசஸ்லையுமே இதில் என்ன கண்டிஷன்ஸ் அப்படின்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, இந்த கேஸில் எக்ஸ் கியூப் அண்ட் எக்ஸ் டேர்ம்ஸ் will not be there. So it is a special form of quadratic equation. ஸோ இதுக்கு தான் வந்து நம்ம என்ன யூஸ் பண்ணுவோம் அப்படின்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, you will be using your quadratic formula. You will be truncating this into quadratic formation. Truncate பண்ணிட்டு we will be finding the solutions. ஏன் அப்படின்னு பார்த்தோம் அப்படின்னா, the previous case it will be more complex. நம்ம solve பண்றதுக்கு it will be more complex. Today we are going to discuss a method which is actually still it is not being completely full-fledged. So it is a method where you can get a solution. So easy வந்து உங்களால solution கண்டுபிடிச்சுக்க முடியும் for a whole general form of quadratic equation அப்படின்னு சொல்லலாம். சரி, so before going to that, let us நம்ம இதை solve பண்றதுக்கு முன்னாடி we will understand what are the terms. So இந்த இடத்தை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் let me make the coefficient of x power 4 வந்து 1 ன்னு மேக் பண்ணிக்கிறோம் and then the remaining coefficients மட்டும் as such அப்படியே வச்சுக்க போறோம். Suppose for x cube it is p, for x square it is q, for x it is r, and for constant we are going to keep it as s. So whenever we anyhow I'm going to have a power 4, I'm going to divide this polynomial into two polynomials which are equal powers. So that means we are going to get two quadratic polynomials. சரி, அப்போ இந்த ரெண்டு quadratic polynomialsல obviously I have taken the coefficient of x power 4 as 1 அப்படிங்கும்போது these two coefficients also will be equal to 1. அப்போ the remaining termsக்கு மட்டும் we are going to have it as variables அப்படிங்கிறது எழுத்துக்க போறோம். ஸோ அப்போ இந்த இடத்துல a b, so x square plus ax plus b, and similarly x square plus cx plus d. If we multiply these two, you will be getting it as x cube plus a plus c x cube plus ac plus b plus d into x square plus ad plus bc into x plus bd will be equal to 0. Now I have got two equations which represent the same. Since I am going to consider this is the factors and roots of, these are the quadratic roots of the above quadratic equation. அப்போ இது ரெண்டையும் கம்பேர் பண்றோம்னு வெச்சுக்கலாம். So when we are going to compare these two, so coefficient of x power 4, it is both the sides will have 1. So in case of coefficient of x cube, it will have p for my general equation and my resultant equation will be a plus c. So in case of coefficient of x square, it is q for this ac plus b plus d. In case of coefficient of x, ad plus bc. In case of constant, it is bd. So from this we can able to come to conclusion that so bd it is a multiple of two terms. So anyhow if we get s வந்து எப்படி break பண்ணிக்கலாம் அப்படினு பாத்தீங்கன்னா, I can break this into factors of 2, and then with the help of these values we can solve your equation. So கொஞ்சம் வேகமா solve பண்ணலாம் without getting your formulas. So இதுக்கு வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா formulas you will have a formulas, Ferrari's method. So இந்த மாதிரி you will have other methods to solve quadratic equation, but those methods will need a lot of mathematical calculations. But for this method we don't even need calculators or any roots or cubes. You don't even need to take any cube roots or something. So this will help you to move in a faster rate. So as we have discussed the method to solve the general form of quadratic equation. So இப்போ இந்த இடத்தை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் what you have to keep in mind. So p, q, r and s, these four must be real coefficients. So கண்டிப்பா வந்து real ஆ இருக்கணும். That is what your first condition. Second condition, anyhow I will be getting b, a, b, c and d. These four will be also real. In the case la irukumbodhu the roots, so roots eppadi venala irukalam. It could be rational or irrational it is complex or complex numbers. So right now these are my primary conditions to solve, and this method is not applicable for all the questions. It is for certain questions where you can experience those results. Okay, right now we are going to solve if it is x cube, x to the power 4. So you have both the coefficients are x to the power 4. In case if you are going to compare the coefficient of x cube, here it is p and a and c. So p where a and c. Similarly for x square, here it is q. This is here ac plus b plus d. Next, in case of coefficient of x, it is r. So we have got r, and ad plus bc. Similarly for constant, s will be equal to bd. To solve this, let us have an example. So we will be taking an example of x to the power 4 plus 13x cube plus 61x square plus 123x plus 90, which is equal to 0. When you compare this equation with the above conditions, so that I will be getting a plus c. So this is a plus c will be equal to 13. Then ac plus b plus d will be equal to 61, and ad plus bc will be equal to 123. Next, it is bd will be equal to 90. So these are my 4 equations. First equation, second equation, third equation, and fourth equation. So before starting to the solve, we have to know, so each values may or may not be identical. So unique, but before going to that, now all the terms are positive. So kandipa all the 4 terms, so p, q, r. So this is what we have got it as p, which is q, which is equal to r, which is equal to s. So these 4 terms are positive. Therefore, my ABCD also will be positive. This is what basic understanding. But this we will have regular, when you work on regular sums, you can get to know what will be the positive or negative. If suppose S is positive, consider only one thing. If S is positive, then you can come to conclusion that both B and D will be positive or negative. So both the values, either it will be positive or negative. In case if B and D are negative, then you can come to conclusion that either one of them is negative. So either base panni we will find your B and D value whether it is negative or positive. In this case, if the terms are negative, there is a possibility that the larger number will be negative. So that values we can find by solving the equations, but only this condition. So B and D, so based on this B and D alone, we have to think. Right now, I have got 90. So I have to write all the possible factors of 90. So 1 into 90, next 2 into 45, next 3 into 30, next 4 is not option, 5 into 18, next 6 into 15, 9 into 10. So these are my possible factors of 90. Now how to use this? So in this value, either it could be B or D. So it is not necessary that you have to take either B or either D or the reason. You can take any values as B or D. Now let us substitute those values. Suppose I have to get B equal to let me have this as B and this as D. I can substitute any values. So if I am going to substitute 1 and D as 90 in the equation number 2, so AC plus 91 must be equal to 61. Therefore, AC will be equal to 30. So AC is equal to minus 30. So there is no possibility that I can get minus 13 as my factors whenever we work with. So even if I'm going to get minus 10 and minus 3, so there is no possibility that it is possible to get minus 13. So for this value is not possible. Similarly, if you check all the terms, so let us have your next term. So B is equal to 3 and D is equal to 30. So I will be getting AC plus 33 will be equal to 61. Therefore, AC will be equal to 28. So the possible factors of 28, 1 comma 28, next 2 comma 14, next 4 comma 11. So whatever things which we do, so either addition or subtraction, whatever things which we do, so the neither of the values does not give you plus 13. So there is no option that B and D, so 3 and 30 is not the option. Next let us take B is equal to 5 and D is equal to 18. So in this case AC plus 5 plus 18 will be equal to 61. So AC will be equal to 61 minus 23, which is equal to 38. And the factors 1 comma 38 and 2 comma 19. So this also cannot able to generate my addition. Next term I will be going with 6 and 15. So B is equal to 6 and D is equal to 15. Therefore AC will be equal to 61 minus 21, which is equal to 40. So possible factors 2 comma 20, 4 comma 10, 5 comma 8. So once if you add this 2 will be the possible A or B. I mean A or C can be 5 or 8. Okay, let us try another method also. B is equal to 9 and D is equal to 10. In this case, AC will be equal to 61 minus of B plus D, which gives you AC will be equal to 61 minus 90, which is equal to 42. Therefore, A could be, so what are the possible factors of 41? It is 1 comma 42, then 2 comma 21, next it is 6 comma 7, 3 comma 14. So in this case, so A and C can be 6 or 7. Now I have got two possibilities. Sorry, if I don't know what are the values, so we are going to substitute B and D in third equation. As such, I have got A plus C will be equal to 13. Now AD plus BC will be equal to 1, 2, 3. So I can substitute the value of B is equal to 6 and D is equal to 15. Suppose if you are going to substitute it, 15A plus 6C will be equal to 123. This is my fifth equation. So this is my first equation and fifth equation. On solving these two, since these are linear equation, if we solve this, A plus C, which is equal to 13. If I am going to multiply it by, this is my first equation, I am going to multiply it by 6. Therefore, 6A plus 6C will be equal to 78. Now, 15A plus 6C will be equal to 123. If we subtract these two, you will be getting, so it is 45. Minus 45 will be equal to minus 9A. Therefore, A will be equal to 5. If A is equal to 5, then C will be equal to 8. Therefore, my equation would be, as such we have calculated my equation, x square plus 5x plus 6 multiplied by x square plus 8x plus 15, which is equal to 0. So therefore, on factorizing this, so you will be getting x plus 3 into x plus 2, where on factorizing this, x plus 3 into x plus 5, which is equal to 0. This implies the value of x will be equal to minus 3, minus 2, minus 3 and minus 5. Okay, suppose if I am going to get the second option, if this is my case, if the second option is my case, so I will be getting A plus C will be equal to 13. Therefore, AD plus BC will be equal to 1, 2, 3. Now I am going to have B is equal to 9 and D is equal to 10. Right now, we are going to solve A and C values. Suppose I will be getting it as 10A plus 9C, which is equal to 123. Now I have to take this as my first equation and this is my fifth equation. So first equation, if I'm going to multiply it by 9, so 9a plus 9c will be equal to, so first equation multiplied by 9, 9a plus 9c will be equal to 117. On subtracting this, a will be equal to 6 and c will be equal to 7. Therefore, my equation will become, so x square plus 6x plus 9 into x square plus 7x plus 10. Since it is a quadratic equation, we know to solve by any methods. So that means x plus 3 into x plus 3 into x plus 2 into x plus 5, which is equal to 0. Therefore, I will get the two possibilities. So it is minus 3 comma minus 3 comma minus 2 comma minus 5. So both the options will be right. On practicing this method, so you can able to solve your quadratic equation at a faster rate, but this method can be applicable for all the roots, even in case of if it is a complex root or rational root. This method can be utilized for all methods, I mean all zeros. It could be rational, irrational or complex, but provided that all the coefficients of the quadratic equation must be in the form of real numbers. So the only condition, all coefficient must be real. So stay tuned for furthermore interesting aspects of other mathematical content. So we'll post your videos regularly. Stay tuned for further updates on mathematical ideas. Thank you. Have a good day.